Hey gang, I want to talk you through the genetic disorder project and some database searches for the project. So in this project, you're going to become an expert on a genetic disorder and you're going to create a wiki website about your genetic disorder. You're going to start off with a mutated DNA sequence. So I'm going to provide a DNA sequence, a mutated DNA sequence, and you're going to find out which gene that sequence is for and what disease that you're going to become an expert on. So I provide these sequences, so you'll get one of these sequences, and I'm going to show you how to take this sequence and figure out your genetic disorder. So I have my own sequence here. I'm going to copy it. So now I have my DNA sequence. I'm going to go to the BLAST site, or NCBI. BLAST is basically a technique that we use in which we have a sequence and we're going to check a database of other sequences and figure out which sequences are most similar to our sequence. So in other words, we're going to take out your mutated sequence, you're going to search the database for that sequence, and theoretically what you should get back, the most similar sequence to your mutated sequence should be the original wild type sequence. And then you'll be able to identify the gene, the protein, and the disease. I'm going to click on Nucleotide BLAST. They're going to take my sequence, I'm going to paste it in. Then I'm going to go down to BLAST. And it might take some time searching the database for all the sequences that are similar to this sequence. And so you can see that I have a bunch of hits. So these red marks show the different hits, the different sequences that are similar to my sequence. So you can see these on the top are very similar, and you can see some up here. The ones at the top are the most similar to it. Or I can just scroll down, and you see here it tells me the name of the different genes. So this is not a human, so I'm not interested in that. But look, it says here Homo sapiens. So I'm going to click on that. And now the name of the gene, you see it says gene for HBB, which is hemoglobin beta. So I know that my protein, my gene, and my protein is going to be for hemoglobin beta. And you can see down here it tells you how similar your sequence is to this hemoglobin beta. It looks like it's 100% identical. You see right here, 441 or 441, and it goes by query 1, subject 1. So the query is your sequence, and subject 1. This is what has been returned to you. And it goes up base by base. The lines mean that they're identical. If there were any gaps, any missing lines, that would show that there is a different base. So now what I can do is I can search information about hemoglobin beta, and then that should be one of the genetic disorders on the list. So if you look here, now it's not one of these diseases because I'm using a different sequence, but then you would do some research, maybe a Google search, or I shared some links with you for some research down here, and you can search some of these sites to see if you can find out which disease your protein or your gene is associated with. Now, once you have identified your disease, so I've already identified my disease as sickle cell anemia, and then I can find the other people in my group that are also researching sickle cell anemia, and then we can follow the research directions below.